Now, these statements differ a bit from modern LDS teaching. The LDS leaders in the early 20th century agreed that the theology of these lectures was a bit at odds with LDS teaching because they completely removed all 7 lectures back in 19...
So the issue he is presenting is that it would seem Joseph's understanding of the Godhead evolved over time. From the first vision to the King Follett discourse, we know from Doctrine and Covenants 130:22, the Father has a body of flesh and bones as tangible as man's, the Son also. But the Holy Ghost has not a body of flesh and bones, but is a personage of spirit. Were it not so, the Holy Ghost could not dwell within us. And so there seems to be a stark contrast. So his whole premise here is twofold. First one is God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Premise 2, the doctrine of our church has changed over time. And so the conclusion he derives from that is that God is either changeable or the prophets are not receiving revelation. Therefore, Joseph wasn't a prophet. Therefore, the church isn't the church of Jesus Christ. God is unchangeable. That's just fine. 2, the doctrine of our church has changed. And I would probably say the understanding of the doctrine of our church has changed. Because like we knew from day one, the first vision, that God had some form, some kind of body, right? But I can accept that. What I disagree with is his conclusion. He assigns meaning to those 2 premises that I think it's a non sequitur. It doesn't follow here. So my conclusion to replace that would be that 1, prophets are fallible, as we all are, and we progress line upon line, precept upon precept. Light grows brighter and brighter until the perfect day. Understanding is refined and evolved over time. And to me, I find it difficult that a Protestant whose faith historically has done the exact same thing, where their theology has evolved over time, I would say significantly, especially coming from early Christianity and the creeds, it has changed demonstrably to varying degrees in all sorts of realms. So anyways, I don't think that's unique to us. I think it's refined. And so I don't think that his conclusion is correct. I think premise 1 and 2 can be true, and this can still be to the Church of Jesus Christ on earth today.
I think that there's a real double standard on Joseph versus their own beliefs. And so for example, I mean, a really clear and obvious one is the fact that it took 300 and something years for people to get settled on the fact that there was a Trinity. And then there was decades of time when there was a change of rule of emperor that all of a sudden Arianism became the thing instead. And then they switched it back to Trinitarianism, and that changed and evolved over time. And so I just think it's really disingenuous to say like, oh, well, that only applies to Latter-day Saints because we want them to be untrue. But for us, like, come on, that's fine.